So, welcome to this week's episode of Crap No One Tells You. This week, I have with me Joe Cover from Digital One,
Mhm.
and he is here to talk to us about crap no one tells you about business reputation management.
Yes.
So, welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. So, let me start with the basic question we ask everyone.
Mhm.
What is some crap no one tells you about online business reputation management?
So, reputation management is one of the number one things that people are looking at online when they buy a product, use a service, or even go out to eat. 97% of consumers are reading online reviews. And when it comes to reviews, things out there, people are saying, we actually manage it for them. So, for the business owners out there that do not know how to claim their pages for Google, Yelp, Facebook, TripAdvisor, any of these platforms. We actually help them claim them, but most importantly, we respond to all the reviews coming in on these channels.
So you become the reactive person when someone actually posts something about your business rather than it just sitting there.
Correct.
So, well, I don't even know where to start with this one, but so I don't think people in general realize how many places there are that people can talk about your business.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. There's over 100 plus platforms out there that people will comment on an experience they had about a dining experience or a product they purchased or an experience they had with a service contractor. And the number one thing to do is take control of that. If you're not taking control of your reputation and you're letting it sit, it hurts you out there on Google. And one of the things that we do is make sure that we manage this for our clientele so that we can give them better placement on the search engines.
so I'm sure you have a couple of good stories about someone posting a horrible review
Yes.
and then you had to deal with it. So
Yes.
what's the process? Let's start with the bad stuff, then we can go to
Okay.
the good stuff.
So normally when a negative review comes in, we get notified right away, and so does the business owner that's on our platform. And the minute it comes in, we notify the business owner if they haven't had a chance to look at it. Prime example, there's a restaurant in Richboro. This gentleman wrote a book on Yelp about the experience he had. The service was very poor. The food wasn't to his standards. He's a loyal customer, and him and his friend are never going back again. And what I mean, this guy wrote 2 paragraphs on Yelp. So we saw it. We reached out to the business owner and said to him, did you see this review that came in? And he said, yes. I said, look, here's what's going to happen. We're going to respond publicly, but we actually have the ability to private message this individual on Yelp. Do you want to talk to this gentleman? And the business owner said, absolutely. I said, okay, how would you like to speak with him? Would you like me to respond back on your behalf, say, reach out to you at the restaurant, email you, or give your personal cell number? And the business owner said, give this gentleman my personal cell number because I want to speak with him. I said, okay. So we responded publicly saying that we're going to, talk to our staff and we're going to reach out to you privately. Please reach out to us. So there was a response publicly that people saw that were reading this review.
Mhm.
Took it to the next level, privately responded to this individual. And a couple days later, the guy went from a 1-star to a 5-star review, giving the business owner an updated review saying, the business owner personally reached out to me and cares about his customers. Now we will absolutely come back and give them a chance. That right there is powerful because had the ability to take that negative review and increase it to a positive review.
Right. So not only did you go from a 1 to a 5-star, but you basically got the customer now to
Come back.
well, and endorse you,
Yeah.
right? Like it
Mhm.
went from I had a poor experience to, oh my God, the business owner cares,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And if nobody would have responded to that, that would have sat there and God knows how much business that would have destroyed.
Absolutely. Like, here's the thing when I try to paint a picture and explain to business owners, if you do nothing with your reputation and negative reviews are coming in, think of it as fear of loss. So going back to what I said before, 97% of consumers are reading online reviews. It takes one negative review to actually impact your business and hurt it. So if you have nothing in place and you're not interacting with these negative reviews, then potential clients that are just moving to the area looking to find a restaurant to dine in or a service contract or whatever it is that you're not interacting, trying to resolve that issue, they're saying to themselves, I'm going to go somewhere else
Yeah.
and
So
find their competitor.
back in the day when I was in the restaurant world,
Hmm.
the one thing they always told us is a customer with a bad experience on average will tell something like 67 others.
Hmm.
A customer with a positive experience will tell 10,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So I always think of, well, with the internet, with all these review sites, with the Googles and the Facebook and the Instagrams,
Right.
I can't imagine how much that has amplified on both, right? So, but even if you add a 0 behind both,
Hmm.
that's now 670 people you're telling about your bad experience and
Hmm.
100 you're telling about your good one,
Right.
right? Because there's a ton of other places where people complain.
Hmm.
I'm gonna, you know,
You know.
where we as business owners or the business owners doesn't have the opportunity to respond.
Hmm.
And it always blows my mind whenever I'm looking at a restaurant or whatever it is,
Hmm.
and I see there are reviews and there are no responses from anybody.
Hmm.
And I'm like, whether it's positive or negative,
Hmm.
like it's the easiest thing in the world
Hmm.
to actually respond to these things, because not only does it build a relationship with whoever commented,
Right.
you're also starting a relationship with someone that then reads it,
Yeah.
right? Because there are so many opportunities
Hmm.
to respond in so many different ways.
And here's the thing that business owners don't understand too, and I'll like kind of enlighten you and the audience is Google, you have to claim your page. Yelp, you have to claim your page. TripAdvisor, you have to claim your page. If you don't claim these pages, then you can't respond to your reviews online. And these are things that we do behind the scenes that customers don't know. You know, I talk to you about it and I explain to them it's sitting there for an hour trying to say, hey, we have to claim this page. The phone's going to ring. Sometimes if the phone number is not attached to your Google business profile,
Oh, it can be a nightmare to
tell me
claim.
that, yeah, then you have to set the postcard out. But with COVID, Google hasn't had the postcards coming out. Originally it was 5 days. Now they extended it to 14 days, and you're waiting for that to claim the page, and you're trying to help them because then reviews are coming in, but you can't respond to them till you
Right.
get ownership of that.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And then the problem is a lot of times people don't get the kick in the butt, so to speak, to do it
Hmm.
until the bad review comes in,
Correct.
right? And now you're waiting 10, 14, 30 days, whatever it is,
Mhm.
before you can actually respond.
Right. And I'll
And
tell you
that
another
does a
story.
ton of damage in that time.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a new thing that Google just released, and this is something that the audience might not be aware about. Is a couple weeks ago, I was down Ocean City and signed up a new account, restaurant, and went to claim their Google business page. So we had to take the steps because there was no phone number attached to the Google business listing. I added the phone number as a suggested edit because I didn't have ownership yet. That took effect, but Google still made us wait for a postcard. 14 days go past, 3 weeks go past. We're like, where's this postcard? So finally, I told the business owner, I'm going to take it to the next step. Let me send an email to Google support. Years ago, you could call Google support. Since COVID, you can't
Can't
anymore.
call anyone.
No, you have to send an
Yeah.
email and wait for them to
Yep.
respond. So this is what happened. I sent an email, told them the situation. Now Google is doing video verification. This customer actually had to get on a video call with Google through Google Meet, and they had to walk around the location, show them the storefront, show them a street view, and then the business page got claimed. Crazy.
Honestly, though, that is a lot better than what they had in the past.
Well,
Like,
the
at least
postcard,
now you
yeah,
can, the
right.
postcard, like there was never really, I honestly like that because
It's cool, but if you don't reach out to Google
Correct.
support and the business doesn't know how to do that,
you could,
then they're kind of waiting and
months, yeah, yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
And luckily, we took it to the next step to reach out to Google support, and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it worked out great. So I had to educate the business owner,
Right.
hey, this is what's going to happen. I copied him on the email from support, and then he had to verify everything himself, which was most business owners, they're not tech savvy.
Right.
that's why we have to educate them on what to do.
Yeah. Restaurateurs and chefs aren't famous for being
Absolutely.
like IT people.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
My phone rings.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all they want. Yeah.
yeah.
Phone rings, order, let's
Yeah.
deliver it. So,
But so how did you end up in this?
I've been in digital marketing for years. I was actually the director of sales and marketing for a company that was based out in Michigan. And I was traveling across the United States, training every new salesperson that got hired for this company, showing them what I did out here in Philadelphia in Bucks County, building out their digital marketing brand. And in 2017, the partners were buying out their other partner and needed more cash flow, and had a conversation with me. Said, "Sorry, we have to let you go."
Okay.
And I was like, and it was just 3 weeks when my wife was pregnant with my second child. And I had a conversation prior with the CEO because I had that relationship.
Right.
And he was like, "Congratulations." 3 weeks later, he calls. He's like, "I'm sorry to do this, but we got to let you go." And I was like, "What?" So I was trying to figure out what to do. And majority of the businesses I dealt with at this agency when I was working for them was restaurants and bars. And I built up their brand to 600 bars and restaurants through that 7 years. And one of the things that these restaurants were asking me, because I had that relationship with them, does this company do anything with reviews online reviews? And the answer was no. All they were doing was all the other stuff.
Right.
So I thought to myself, well, reviews aren't going anywhere. They're one of the biggest things out there.
Yeah.
I mean, take me for an example. When I buy things online,
Yeah.
I read reviews before I buy that product.
We've now even started seeing video reviews.
Exactly.
Like that's
It's
the next
crazy.
step. Yeah.
So it was September of 2017. I had a conversation with one of my siblings and my brother, and he's an entrepreneur. He has his own agencies for insurance. And he's like, "You have this book of business. All these people trust you. Reach out to them and start doing your thing." And I said, starting your own business, you're a little hesitant. You're not sure what to do.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "What are you afraid of? Just jump." And I said, "Okay." And that's when I started. And I just started calling my customers after I got everything lined up with my, digital and agency brand, and went from there. Customers that I reached out to, they said, "Joe, whatever you're doing, come and see me because we trust you." And that's how I just started. And it's just been a godsend, the best thing I ever did.
Just to go out on your own.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's definitely fearful in the beginning, but yes, it is amazing. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I love helping people.
So you were kind of lucky enough well, I shouldn't say lucky enough. You worked hard for it,
Hmm.
but you already had pre-existing relationships with a bunch of businesses before you started.
Correct.
So how long did it take you from the time you said, okay,
Hmm.
I'm now jumping in the deep end,
Hmm.
till you had what I would call like a sustainable income doing this?
3 months.
That's all it took.
Yeah. Yeah. I started in September and it was a conversation with my wife because, again, she was pregnant with my son, Luke. And I said, "Look, I think this is what I'm going to do." She said, "Do what you need to do," because we needed to make this happen, And 2 years later, she resigned from her job. She's a stay-at-home mother, taking care of the kids, and I'm out there building the business. So I can't be happier.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's get back to some good stories.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the vast majority of reviews, I still believe, I
Mhm.
could be wrong on this, are generally positive, right? Like
Hmm.
y-
Yes.
you very rarely see a business with a 1-star review. And if it is, it's because it has like 1 or 2 reviews.
Hmm.
So during this process of the reputation management, do you guys do anything to try to entice, like, let's say someone gave a business a 1-star review 2 years ago.
Hmm.
It's just been sitting there. Nobody's done anything about it. If you answer that 2 years later, it doesn't look very good, first of
Hmm.
all.
Right.
What are some things that you guys try to do when there are either, not enough good reviews,
Hmm.
or if there are just a ton of good reviews and very few, if any, bad ones? Like how does that process work?
So to give you an example of that, we have clients out there. So most of my clients, let me backtrack. Most of my clients are bars and restaurants. They're the ones that need the help the most because they are inundated with reviews constantly,
Oh, yeah.
constantly. And going back, so we branched out to other industries, categories, and we've noticed that some of these service industries don't get a lot of reviews and because they don't have a lot of clientele coming through the doors.
Right.
Okay.
Like a lawyer doesn't have,
Correct. Like
doesn't
a
see 100
lawyer,
table or 200 tables at
correct.
night.
A lawyer, contractor, whatever it may be. And we have a gentleman in Warminster that was referred to us. He had a 2.3 rating, but only had 3 reviews.
Right.
And they were all negative. Maybe maybe
With
one
the
positive.
2.3.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was one was a positive review, but they were from years ago. And I try to explain to customers that, it's an ongoing thing. People are reading reviews, but most of us, including myself, we're reading the most recent reviews.
Right.
So when it comes up,
There's a reason you can sort them.
correct.
Right.
There's most relevant or most recent or highest or low
Mhm.
rating. So I and majority of us are going to the most recent and we want to see what is happening recently. So because let's say someone had a great experience 2 years ago, but things change.
Right.
So that's why we're going to the most recent. And the point of this story is the gentleman reached out to me, said, hey, I heard you do reputation management and you could help raise my rating on Google and give me a better presence. And we did. So we took him from a 2.3 rating to a 4.5 rating in, say, 30 to 45 days. How we did that was helping him generate reviews. We actually have the ability. Google recommends that you generate reviews. Facebook recommends that you generate reviews.
Yes.
Yelp, against it, 100%. They don't let you solicit reviews. If they find out that you are, they take those reviews and hide them or not recommended.
Yelp is a totally different animal.
100%.
Like,
And
I won't even get into that.
and I won't
They're a
either.
different animal.
100%.
Yeah.
What I'll say to you is dealing with these clientele that I deal with, when you bring up the word Yelp, it's, I hate Yelp. I can't stand Yelp. And I say, I hear it all the time,
You still have to deal with it.
correct. Yeah.
Just
And that's
because I don't like it.
yeah,
I don't
and-
like doing paperwork. but
Right.
Sometimes I got to do it.
Correct. Exactly. So I explained it to him. You might not like them, but you still claim the page. You still interact with these customers because there's Yelpers out there that's all they do is constantly go on Yelp. And they have elite status and all these things, whatever. It's another, I could talk about that for hours.
We could do a
Yeah.
crap no one tells you about Yelp episode.
Correct. So anyway, that being said, is we have the ability to help generate reviews, giving you a better rating on Google, helping you get better ratings on Facebook. The number one source that I believe is Google. If you Google this, and it's funny I'm saying Google, but if you Google, does responding to my reviews help with my local SEO? And you know what SEO is,
Yep.
search engine optimization. The answer is yes. Google actually confirms it. By responding to your reviews gives you street credibility that you're interacting with your customers and showing you care. And it's twofold. The more reviews you get with Google and interacting with those responses or those reviews on Google, they're actually shooting you up to the top of the page,
Mhm.
giving you better placement on local search, which is
And
huge.
Google search is everything right now.
Yeah.
For any local based or service based restaurant.
Yeah.
The Google local pages you can live or die by them. almost,
Correct.
right?
Absolutely. So, and it's an ongoing thing. Google changes their algorithm 4 times a year. And one of the things that they made that change was with the reviews because they know reviews are important and everyone has a voice now. Everyone wants to tell them how their experience was, good or bad. And this is where we come in, where we actually have the ability to take ownership and respond to these reviews for these clientele.
So you're like the customer service rep.
Yeah.
Now, not even customer service. It would be, what is the title for someone that deals with customers all the time? Customer,
Retention?
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of cool that I don't even think people realize that this has become an industry.
Mm-mm.
What you guys are doing.
Yeah. I mean, it is a powerful thing to take control of your reputation. My reputation means everything. And I actually,
Well, you build your business on your reputation.
absolutely.
Right.
And I actually, did Steven say that I help customers generate reviews? I
Mhm.
generate my own reviews. meaning I'll go to my clients
Yep.
after they're with me. Even if I've known them for years, but once they start this program with me again and us like take control and helping them with their reputation, how's everything going? Joe, it's great. Love it. Great. My reputation means everything to me too. Do you mind if I send you my Google business page and you leave me a 5-star review on Google? Absolutely. Whatever you want.
So you actually do what you preach, huh?
Absolutely.
It's magical how that works.
Mhm. Yeah, you have to. It's one thing to run a reputation management company, but if someone Googles Digital One and sees no reviews, it's like, what?
Yeah.
So no, we actually preach it as well too.
So one thing that I want to bring up, because I've seen this happen more than once and more than twice, is someone leaves a scathing review and the owner is like, who is this?
hmm
Never heard of this person.
Right.
Wait to like, what do you do?
So there are ways to flag reviews and get rid of them. There is a process. So with Google, you can get reviews removed as long as they fall into the guidelines of being removed. Spam, violence, harassment, bullying. Most of them, though, are ex-employees or competitors. So we have to flag these reviews to get removed. We have the ability to get them removed. But if it's just a anonymous person says service was poor, food
Mhm.
wasn't up to my standards, you're wasting your time trying to flag that. It's not going anywhere. But majority of the time that we know that are the ones that are flaggable, we can get them removed, and we have in the past.
Have you ever gotten a review from someone only to realize that they reviewed the wrong business?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So with Yelp, going back to them, you have the ability to use that as a selection. This is for the wrong business, but Yelp allows you to comment why you're flagging it. Where Google doesn't, Facebook doesn't. You select like a selection
Mhm.
of what the reason is, and then they review it. And if they say it doesn't fall into their guidelines of being removed, they're not going to remove it, but they'll let us know why. And if that is the case, then we do respond. We still take that next step and say, okay, we're going to respond to this. But we keep it neutral. The one thing that we're very good at, because as a business owner, you, me,
Mhm.
any business owner, we take our negative reviews personal. And business owners, and I could show you.
Very easy to
Yeah.
like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I could show you text messages from my clients, like, because when a review comes in, I take that next step and like they get notified, but I still text them just in case, say, hey, did you see this? And they're like, oh, this is not true. I say, I understand. Like I have this one guy in Northeast Philly. We communicate all the time when stuff comes in, and he's like, he just goes off. I'm his punching bag. That's what I am. And I say, okay, well, listen, I understand. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to keep it neutral. We're still going to apologize. If you want to speak to this person, let me know. We'll tell them to reach out to you. If you're okay with not speaking to them, then
Mhm.
we'll answer that in a way that they understand that we're apologizing. We'll talk to our staff. We'll make things better. Hopefully you'll give us another chance. Now, the reason we do that is going back to what I said before, customers read reviews.
Yes.
And if there's a negative review out there and there's no response, it's like,
That's
I'm not going to go there.
Right.
But if they see someone trying
Yes.
to rectify a concern,
And that's why
there we are.
knee-jerk reactions to
Mhm.
bad reviews are normally not good.
No, exactly right. Yeah. So,
Because the knee-jerk reaction is not, oh, let me politely try to smooth this over and have a
mhm.
conversation. No, it's, what the hell are you talking about?
Right. Most of the time, exactly it is. And the crap no one talks about.
Right.
Exactly.
So I guess sometimes, just like with a lot of other things, it's good to have like a buffer. You're
Yeah.
like, this is what I want to say. And you go, I will say it the nice way.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So there's times when customers say, well, I want to say this. And I say, okay, I'll put that in there. But before we respond, I am going to send it to you to confirm that you're okay with it.
Right.
Because there's been times
When you read it, it's
Yeah.
totally different than
Right.
when you say it.
And when I first started this, I mean, it was a learning curve. I was responding accordingly, but there has been times where customers are like, oh, I want you to edit that for me. And I'll go back and edit it for them. But knowing the business now, you remember it's what the customer wants, meaning the business or how they want us to interact with them. That's why we always communicate with them first. It's not, like you said, a knee jerk reaction. Look, okay, let's just respond and go about our day. We communicate with our clients to make sure that we are responding with their voice.
So when you are looking at someone's like Google My Business profile or
Hmm.
Yelp or whatever,
Yeah.
do you get on the back end, do you get like statistics and numbers and how many people visit it and how many times it's been shown and all that stuff?
I see it. My focus is just the reviews.
Okay.
We have the ability to see all that stuff. I mean, we do take one of the things that we do that customers aren't aware, but we do it is we actually look at their listings to make sure they all sync
Hmm.
because that's another thing that you want to make sure
Oh
the
yeah.
hours are matching, the business name is matching, the address, phone number, and it all coincides with everything. When it comes to the insights on Facebook or, anything on Google, we see it, but we don't actually, it's not our main focus,
Right.
if that makes sense.
So what I was gonna ask, and
Hmm.
maybe it's something you've taken a peek at, but do you generally see a consistency between someone goes from having a 2.1 star, three people reviewed you,
Hmm.
then you guys start working your magic, and
Hmm.
now all of a sudden you go, you have 30 reviews and 4.5 stars, like the example you used earlier.
Yeah.
Like, is there an increase in the number of times that specific business is now shown?
Yeah. So, if I understand the question correctly, is when we help a business owner generate reviews,
Hmm.
we do monitor to see how many reviews they're getting
Okay.
and using the software that we've provided to them to increase that. And we will look and say, okay, going back to the gentleman I was speaking of earlier, where he went from a 2.3 to a 4.4, 4.5, is we have that conversation and we see the increase going
Right.
from 3 reviews to 30 reviews,
Right.
and, yeah, we do monitor that.
Okay. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, have a favorite client?
Do I have a favorite client?
Someone that gets bombarded all the time that you got to deal with,
Oh,
good
so
or bad, or
no, so we have right now, we manage over 150, businesses with reputation management, and there are a select few that get hammered, and they're restaurants.
Mhm.
There's one in, New Jersey that is, on the way to the shore that probably gets anywhere from 45 to 80 reviews a month, constantly. So there's another one in Northeast Philly, and it's the gentleman I was talking about who I communicate when he does get negative reviews. He gets anywhere from 60 to, 90 reviews a month. So there's a select handful that get a lot of reviews without us doing anything to help them generate reviews.
Right.
Um, and it's like because they're a destination restaurant to go to. That's why.
So it's like a, not saying it is,
Hmm.
but it's like a Geno's or a Pat's that everybody
Correct.
knows what it is.
Yes. They're
Everybody
known
feels
for
yeah,
they're known for something very, very particular.
everybody feels the need to comment or say something,
Correct. Yes.
right? A lot of times it's not even about the food or service.
Mhm.
It's just like random stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Those are my favorite to read.
Yeah.
Like when you get to see a product review, they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, it was horrible. UPS left it in the driveway." Um, what does that have to do with the product?
Right. No, it's funny too you say that too, is like some clients will get reviews not about the food, but about the third party delivery companies out there
Yeah.
that had nothing to do with the food. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, do they not understand? But maybe because I'm in the industry
People
that they
don't,
just start writing stuff like, oh, the delivery driver from Grubhub or
right.
DoorDash left it around the corner in the pouring rain. Okay, well, why are you leaving a review about
Should
the
be leaving it for Grubhub, not
cor
for us, right?
Yes, and we try to explain that in, like, again, going back to the neutral response, we're like, "Sorry for the experience you have. Unfortunately, we don't have our own delivery drivers. You ordered through Grubhub or DoorDash, and these are third parties. They're the ones that did it, but we still will take care of you, and, hopefully you'll give us another chance." Because at the end of the day, the consumer who ordered from that establishment doesn't know.
No, no,
They think
they
they're
blame the restaurant.
correct.
They don't blame the third party deliveries.
Because they don't know. They think they're all connected,
Right.
and they're not. So,
It's interesting. That's a whole that must have become quite the nightmare during like the COVID era when everybody was on Grubhub and
Oh, yeah.
DoorDash and
But it's funny you say that because during that time, these pizza shops and restaurants skyrocketed with their takeout.
oh yeah,
And that's how they kept them in business.
Yeah.
Because everyone was ordering online.
Yeah.
You know,
nobody was going out for anything.
Mhm.
So it was
Yeah.
anybody that had a takeout business was booming.
booming,
Time.
booming. You
I
know,
know.
if I would see him, I'm like, how's business? Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And,
I know. I know a guy that owns a little takeout place right up the street from here.
Yeah.
And I asked him flat out, I'm like, how did it affect you? And he's like, week 9 after shutdown for us. He's like, I almost shut my doors and called it a day and said, or it was week 7, whatever.
Right.
He's like, I was just about to give up and I wasn't going to do this. And he's like, I was just going to close till this was over.
Mhm.
And he's like, the following week, it's like something just clicked with people that they could still do takeout
Yeah.
and they tripled
hmm
their business.
Yeah.
From pre-COVID to COVID times.
Mhm.
Yeah, they tripled in revenue during that time.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
I mean, because when COVID happened, no one knew what was going on.
No.
You know, even myself. And I lost 40 accounts like that.
Oh yeah, because
And I was like, oh,
nobody was coming to the restaurant.
right. You know, and like I said earlier, that's who I was dealing with in the
Yep.
beginning. And then I had to pivot and say, okay, well, there's other industries out there that
Yep.
need our assistance and need our help. And that's how we were able to expand and grow. So
Okay.
yeah, it's good.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you got to respond to the reviews.
Absolutely.
You got to get more of them.
100%, because going back to the beginning of this conversation, everyone's reading reviews. I could put a percentage on it. It's probably 98% now. It could be 99%, but everyone, majority are reading reviews. I had a client yesterday. It was a hair salon that I brought on board. They have 2 locations, signed them up. And I was talking to the receptionist,
Mhm.
and while I was like doing my thing, claiming their pages and stuff, and she looks at me, she goes, "That's all I do is read reviews." And I laughed. I said, "Right?" I said, "Everyone's doing it."
Oh,
She
yeah.
goes, "That's all I do." She goes, "My husband says, you constantly read reviews, but you never write one.
Right.
Why?" And she's like, "Well, I care what people are saying, and I want to know if I want to buy this product or go here."
Yeah.
And we laughed about it, but she made me think like, yeah, everyone's reading reviews.
Yep.
It's what we do because it's word of mouth. It's
Yes.
what it is. And the best form of advertising
Is word of mouth.
is word of mouth.
Yep.
It is. And that's
Just
what,
the modern way that
Mhm.
we've evolved or
Right.
technology has evolved. To
Correct.
Word of mouth is now
Yeah.
reviews.
The other thing is location, location, location.
Right.
But going back, word of mouth is everything. And we trust, even when we don't know the individuals,
Mhm.
we trust what people are saying about certain things,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And it's
Blind trust.
yeah, exactly right.
Right.
It's crazy though, because it's like how, like you said, it's how technology has evolved.
Mhm.
And I've made a career out of it now, you know, because reviews aren't going anywhere.
Nope.
Not at all. And it's like people want to let you know how their experience was. They want to voice their concerns if they have any, or voice their positive experience when they have them. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. That is awesome. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah. You're
And,
welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
Maybe we'll do an episode one day about the crap no one tells you about Yelp.
Yeah, let me know.
But
I have many more stories.
so thank you everyone for listening, and we will be back next week.